Welcome to Local Omaha. I'm Ken Bartholomew, along with
Kelsey Weedle.
We're here each week. The focus of our podcast is to promote small business, entrepreneurship, community involvement, and then just keep everybody in touch with, and in the know of what's going on in the community and the different happenings, as well as really getting out and helping to support small business. This week we have a special guest, and Kelsey, if you'd like to say hi and introduce Venton.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here today. Venton Wilder, so he owns GBOD. Venton, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
First off, thanks for having me, Ken and Kelsey. GBOD's been in the Omaha area since 2018. Shortly, while we were in the pandemic, we decided to start our small training facility. Is 2,700 square feet of greatness, I call it. This is where we focus on developing kids, kindergarten through. We have some college players. We develop them in basketball, not only in basketball on the court, but off the court values as well. So we focus in on dribbling, ball handling, all this stuff, but we also focus on emotional intelligence with some of our kids, and just coaching through some mentorships within them. Everything that encompasses being a hooper. That's what we try to focus in at GBOD.
Well, let me ask you real quick, because Venton and I, the three of us have known each other for about 6-7 years now. And Venton, GBOD, does it stand for Get Better Off Dedication or Get Buckets and Die?
It's Get Buckets or Die.
Okay.
Get Buckets or Die. We were Get Better Off Dedication, and it's still a part of our mission of getting doing a little thing, showing up every day, getting better off just putting the work in. But the whole story is Get Buckets or Die was something or a model that I used in college. I went to a junior college. They know this, but I went to a junior college in Beatrice, Nebraska. And this is after just years of dedication towards the game since like second grade. I went to a Division II, and then shortly after the Division II, they let me go. I had to find a way to a JUCO, and then after this JUCO, I had to build this mentality that I call Get Buckets or Die. You guys don't know this, but the younger generations, maybe you guys know this. You ever heard of Jeezy?
Yes.
So like
Sure.
Jeezy dropped this album at the same time. It was called Trap or Die. So I tried to put my own little spin on it. It was Get Buckets or Die, and I was in JUCO, and it all made sense. But from that point on, I just always said it was the mantra that I always said to kind of keep me motivated and keep me going, because basketball was just so influential in everything I did.
So Venton, let me ask you, because, some different things are coming to mind from when we first met, that kind of thing. So you're originally from Florida, correct?
Originally from South Florida.
So you've lived in the Omaha area for 10 years?
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. I've been in the Omaha area for technically about 8 to 9 years. My first journey in Nebraska was in Beatrice. So I call my whole journey in Nebraska, I'm here for 10 years. I've been here for 10 years now. So I'm in Nebraska now.
There you go.
I'm in Nebraska now. I love it. I really love it here. After kind of I settled in and kind of took it all in. I was so used to the fast-paced living, and after I kind of took a seat back and took a step back and thought about my family and stuff like my family with my kids and my wife, I decided I think Nebraska is the way to go.
So then it's safe to say that you were probably disappointed when Florida won the NCAA and
they won it. They won it, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They won it.
Yeah. So
And you really dove into Nebraska. Like, you have chickens now, right?
I have chickens. We have 20 chickens.
20?
We have 20 chickens.
Oh.
How many did you come home with the first day? Because I feel like it was a handful.
Nicole, like my wife Nicole, when she does something, she takes it there. Okay, Nicole,
she is a driven woman.
She takes it there. So no, we didn't start with like 4 chicken. We started with like 12 chickens.
Oh, that's still more than I thought.
And then from there, she just keeps growing her love. And
I love it.
That's
she's a local
awesome.
real estate agent, so she kind of gives it as her
Yeah.
gifts to people, like just free eggs.
Oh, I thought you were telling me she gave him chicken.
Chicken.
No, not whole chickens.
Here you go.
Not whole chickens, but she just gives them eggs as like little parting gifts.
Oh,
And stuff.
that's
Nice.
awesome.
She's too cute.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yes,
She
we love
seems like
Nicole.
she's really supportive of your business. How does
What?
it work with
She
you?
is the okay. Let's get this very clear. Like without her, there's no GBOD.
Right.
And without her, like there would be GBOD the same, but she actually puts the sweat equity into the business. She's my partner full on 50-50. She does just as I tell people all the time when there's stuff like that's not my department. Her department is her niche and what she does. And my department is the creative, the basketball, to put things together. And her job is to tell me I'm taking it a little too far, or I need to refocus, or I need to do different things, and ultimately scheduling as well. So
Right.
yes, what you hear right now is she is the boss, and
I was going to say, I
way.
think it's kind of interesting that she's got you believing it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. It's 50-50. Because as we kind of dabbled in this field, in this industry of youth sports and youth basketball, you start to realize the sport is very little to the picture. The sport basketball means very little to people. It's the scheduling, it's the merchandise that you have to order, it's the uh, hotel coordination that has to be done, it's the planning because parents aren't going to be there for the weekend.
Oh, there's tons. Yeah.
There's just a ton of stuff than just showing up to the game. And especially if you're like a program like us, is we're not trying to do it for the dollar amount. We're trying to do it for the outcomes later on that basketball is going to have on the kid. That's the bigger picture. That's when we'll see that's our money.
Right.
Because basketball is full force going to come back and save the day again.
Right. So Venton, when we first met, my son was 12 and we were involved in basketball. And then that's when we first met. And again, I think I think I understood you correctly when we first met. Omaha is like serious basketball community for youth and everything, right? I mean, like there's big programs, there's your smaller to mid-sized programs, that type of thing. And then there's some things that I wanted to talk about a little bit that impressed me with you from the beginning. And there's like 3 different areas that you focus on. It's education, skill and skill set.
Yeah, it's I like to focus on with my athletes is education, skill and skill set, and strength and conditioning.
Right.
If you have those 3 things, I feel like no matter what sport you play, you have to have those, especially if you're trying to go to college and go to the next level.
Right.
Those 3 things are the common denominators between all athletes.
Right.
Education, the skill that you have to acquire over years, and the strength and conditioning portion of it. Getting stronger. Can you take that bump? Can you throw that ball for 100 times in the game? Can you shoot the ball? Like all that stuff is strength and conditioning, and all that is incorporated is a good student athlete. Period.
Yeah. Now, Kelsey and I talked quite a bit recently, and we were talking about some of the stuff that we learned too with you with that skill and dedication and that type thing and what differentiates. But really, one of the things that you really brought to me is that there's a level of expectation. Parents, I was there. I mean, you want to see your kid do well and you want your kid to play, that kind of thing. But it really comes down to the athlete, right? I mean, I was watching a little bio with Van Lith here recently. That is it Haley? I'm forgetting.
Yeah, Haley Van Lith.
Right. For having a brain. Right. And she was just talking about, she'd come home her dad would spend 3 hours an evening in the driveway with her, or they'd go to the community center, they'd do whatever. But it was her.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to go. And then he supported it. But I mean, that's the big part of it, right?
That's a huge part of it.
Again, just in getting to know you that I like, because it was the education, it was the strength and conditioning, it was the mindset. It wasn't just, let's go through the fundamentals, et cetera, that type of thing, which obviously is important.
Mm-hmm.
But The other thing I wanted to ask before I forget is, so typically with you, from a grade standpoint, I mean, you'll see people in your program at like the third grade level. Is that pretty typical, and then up through high school, or
Yeah.
you start earlier than that?
Yes. So we do competitive play third through we do third through eighth grade for youth. We do this thing that's in-house called junior buckets, where we service kindergarten through second. Those kids aren't really going to different places to play. That's more like a YNCA.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a filtering process to try to get these kids in so that they understand our flow. So when they do go to second to third grade, it's an easy transition from going from playing your friends to actually playing Johnny down the street.
Right.
So we're trying to bridge that gap. And then after we bridge that gap, we this past year we just got the Puma circuit for Next Pro. So shout out Next Pro. We got the Puma circuit because our original class that we started 2028, the original class that we started with went into high school this ninth grade year. So we before went from third through eighth grade, and then our kids had such a great time that they were like, "Yo, what are we going to do for high school?" So as a solution, GBOD decided to apply to different circuits. We got into the Puma circuit because of the work that we've done in the community, and after we've done that, we've now we've connected the gap between eighth grade and high school.
Okay.
So we connect the gap between kindergarten and third grade, transitioning from, internal to um, playing Johnny down the street. And now went from eighth grade playing Johnny down the street to playing uh, Eric in Minnesota.
Right.
So
Yeah.
breaking these gaps, expanding these gaps, understanding, teaching kids the different styles of play within your region, and then within your state, and then within the nation, understanding that you're not the only one that's putting in work out here.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the other thing is too that I always that I found nice to hear from you was that, first of all, there's such a small percentage of kids that move on to the next level, especially at the pro level, obviously. But every parent, well, maybe not every parent, but there's a lot of parents. I mean, I remember sitting back thinking, he's got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or what? So, and again, there's a lot of good skilled players, but you're almost a freak athlete to go to that next level. But one of the things that I really like that you always talked about is, if you've got a son or daughter who plays basketball at the high school level, they should be able to go on to the college level and get a degree playing basketball.
Mhm.
And if it's a passion, something that they love, something that they want to do, something they want to continue to do, they should be able to continue on, go to school, and continue the love of the sport, and at the same time get an education. Is that?
Well, that is absolutely correct. A lot of the preconceived notions that's go along with playing the basketball player is that everybody doesn't go to Creighton, everybody doesn't go to Nebraska, everybody doesn't go to Kansas. I'm a small college junkie, so I love the small college scene. Because it allowed me to get an education, and education for free. It allowed me to experience things that I probably wouldn't have experienced if they didn't give me the opportunity to. So I'm always for the small colleges and kids understand the small colleges. So with that being said, I was a good student. My parents, I come from educators. My parents are educators, and my dad is an educator. My uncles, aunties, uncle, everybody that you can name in my immediate family growing up was an educator. So I've always had good grades. So within my journey, I understood I always had good grades, and I was always next to people that sometimes didn't have the best grades. And sometimes they were more talented, and sometimes I got the upper hand in a lot of situations because I had the good grades. So with that being said, I understood how to navigate academics. Going back to what we talked about, people go to these small colleges and JUCOs and all these things typically because there's a reason, whether they're not good at school, whether they don't have the athletic ability yet or the skill set yet. What I want kids to really understand and realize is there is a place for you to play, but you have to take care of the thing that is holding and hindering you from going to the next level. And the most detrimental thing to hindering you, the biggest obstacle I saw or I see within the journey is grades. You have to have a certain grade to go. Typically, the people that want to go to these small schools, they go to JUCOs, these things called junior colleges. And these junior colleges have a reputation for taking kids with not so good grades or not
Right.
so hot grades, or there's some kind of backstory to why this kid is not successful in the coach's eyes or the environment or the industry of basketball.
Mhm.
Get your grades, because if you get your grades, you always have a chance to play and take your dream to the next level. And it's even more so now because of junior colleges and the rule changes, and the things that you could do wasn't a thing of when I played 13 years ago.
Right.
So like kids that went to junior colleges can now, um, after they go to junior college, they can have 4 more years if they were good enough to go. If they were good enough to go and go to Creighton, they could go to Creighton and start in as a freshman and go come in there with their associates. So now, not only are you a freshman or 20, I guess you would be a 20-year-old freshman,
Mhm.
you're a 20-year-old freshman with an associate's. So essentially that means if you do everything the right way, you could leave your basketball career after 4 or 5 years with a master's from an accredited university. That's amazing.
Right. That is amazing.
That's
And,
beautiful. But those are just the little changes of what's happening. And there's so many nuances of what's happening. You have to understand and pay attention. And the best thing you can tell these kids is just get good grades, because from good grades, you have options.
right. Right.
Options is all that matters.
Yeah, you got to set yourself up for the future, and that education's huge.
Yes.
I know. Even you yourself. I remember when we first met. I mean, I'm trying to remember. You have a bachelor's,
I have an associates. I got a bachelor's and a master's.
and
I'm working on my doctorate. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Lots going on.
My mom's asking me every day about it.
all right. Well, I'll let her know that I'm on you too.
My mom's asking me every day about it. But that
But that's
dissertation
awesome,
process
because
is
that
a
stuff's
joke.
important, and then that comes through in your program. That comes through to the students. I know one of the things. So let me ask you about this too, because I know you have the different teams. You played local. You'll enter in some tournaments outside of the
Mhm.
local area, but then we met and started doing basketball camps and that type thing. Is that something? Are you still doing basketball camps? Do you do?
We do basketball camps, but as of lately, or when we opened up the gym, that kind
Mhm.
of opened up a 365 like training situation.
Right.
So we
It's
train
harder.
every day.
Right.
We're in the gym every day. Um, I started. I like camps. I like doing camps. I like customized camps better than just throwing a camp together,
Mm.
because I'm able to go with a direct thing and I kind of have a mindset that's going in. Um, but I do camps. We actually do. We're on our third year of a competitive camp. A competitive. When I say a competitive camp, it's like
Right.
T3 TV.
Mhm.
This camp is like on Friday we have a DJ. We have 3-on-3.
Oh,
We have
right.
a
That's so
3-point
cool.
shootout.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, we scramble all the kids together from the region and put region and nation and put them together and mix the teams up and see who's the best and kind of rank them from there. And that's what we call our competitive camp. And we're on year 3 of that. That's GBOD exposure, national exposure camp. And
Nice.
I've seen that. Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
That's the camp that we really focus on. It's like a competitive camp. It isn't a skills camp like you typically see where you go there, we're working on ball handling. No, when you come here, you better be ready to go. Like it's
Is this camp held in your facility that you're working at
no,
right now?
we
Okay.
actually rent last year it was at Papillion Landing. This year we're gonna do a year 3 is at Papillion Landing again. The first year we did our camp, we had about 70 kids. This past year we had 98, and the
Nice.
aim for this year is 120. So let me tell you a little backstory behind that camp. We started doing that because we started taking our kid to St. Louis to get exposed to different players and levels of play. And from that, we noticed that our kid was kind of like timid and nervous. And then we kept doing it. We kept putting them in those situations to kind of like put his feet on the fire to be like, yo, are we doing this or not? Because we're spending a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But from that, we understood, dang, oh, our kid is getting better. Oh, it's worth putting them in the fire. Oh, we should put him in the fire. Oh, we're talking about going to college. Oh, he really can't go to college because he's been playing the best players in the country his whole life. Oh, that translates to his confidence. Oh, that's because he's been playing the same player that you're saying is good since the fourth grade. We wanted to bring that same mentality back to Omaha. So that's why we started our first year, second year, and now we're on our third year. Lord willing, we're going to make this happen, and it's going to be our best event yet. It's on like August 16th, 17th, and 18th this year.
Benton, let me tell you what, I'm sitting here now looking at our time, and I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
All day. Benton, you have so much to share.
There's so much to share.
Yeah.
And I want to, so hopefully we'll talk about our schedules and you'll come back.
Yeah.
Because there's different things I want to talk about. And I'm just going to preface them now, but one is, I liked how when you have an older high school athlete, there's some individuals that maybe aren't doing so well in school, et cetera, that type of thing. But you spend the time and help them understand, how do I actually enroll in college? Who do I look for within my school for some help? Some things like that. I always thought that was a cool deal. So sometimes there's not the the support, but also the requirements to move to the next level. And then you get to you want to go to the next level, and they're like, well, your grades are bad, but you would spend time and help people understand how to do that. The other thing I want to get back and talk with you about too is understand kind of this surgence of women's basketball. And what if you're seeing some of that with girls coming into the gym and wanting to hoop and regardless of the reasons or whatever. I mean, I enjoy watching the sport. I don't bypass a game if I can watch women's basketball.
Women's basketball is real interesting right now, and it's kind of at the stage where we were talking about before about people are professional in college,
right?
Women's basketball is unique because they're really I was watching Cheryl Miller talk about kind of women's basketball, and she was saying, hey, like, these girls are getting the bulk of their nest egg in college.
Yeah.
So I think that's real interesting. I mean, like, that's just girls basketball, but I'm just saying in general, it's such at a unique state because it's the wild, wild west right now. It's trying to figure out how to sustain your popularity over years at a league that's not that looks like it's not supporting how they would like to be supported. So that's why they're starting different things like the rival league and things like that. Because first off, women, if you don't have a woman in your business pushing and thriving, what are you doing out here? So I could only imagine how if the W doesn't get it right, the rival league is going to get it right. Back to women's basketball. It's at an incredible place right now. It's exciting to watch. At the gym, I'm watching girls say their Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. I'm watching them know these women, but if you ask them who Lisa Leslie were, they had no clue. But these new personalities are coming to light, are connecting with these female hoopers, and it's just going to it's just a breath of fresh air for the sport. And as women's basketball keeps growing and growing, it's going to get better and better, and how we treat them, how we treat them is going to be less like them and more like us.
I think the other
we have because they're hoopers.
I think we're starting to see that across all sports.
But the only people that have this kind of differentiator between the two are the non-hoopers. Like, if you ever in a gym with a female hooper that plays basketball, there's no difference.
Right. I think the thing is,
there's no difference.
And I'm going to mention this too, so we remember to talk about it next time. But one of the things that you and I have talked about is I've had, we talked about when we worked together in the gym, and we've had several young high school kids work for us, but they were athletes as well. and just the way they carried themselves and what they learned in different programs. And if you're in basketball and you're a point guard, if you're in baseball and you're a pitcher, I mean, it's several positions. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not just a couple, but you can see those leadership roles in sports translate into the workplace and a level of confidence, interacting with the public, et cetera, that type of thing. So that's something I want to, when we get back, I want to unpack that a little bit more. I want to get back, talk more about women's basketball and what we're seeing. Even on the local level here,
It's crazy.
it's so fun to watch down in Lincoln when it comes down to the final tournaments and that type thing. And there's some really good hoopers here in town. Kelsey, we're running tight.
I know.
We always end Venton. We talk about some different community things, some of the stuff that's going on. Last week we talked about, Jungstock is coming up soon at the end of the month.
Yeah.
We're going to have some of the different parades and events, and I'm always going to say Waterloo Days, just because I'm connected to it. And
Kenny B from the Lou. Kenny B from the Lou.
There you go.
I was doing something else.
So Kelsey, I don't know, can you wrap us up here?
I
And
can.
again, sorry for the tight time here, but
Well, I want to start off with something super important first. First of all, if you want to learn more about Venton's awesome business that him and Nicole have built, I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a great facility. But if you want to learn more about his business, their mission, all of the things they're doing, please go visit gbodsports.com. And then your physical facility is located on about 156 in Center. Is that right?
About 156 in Center, 2611 South 156 Circle.
awesome.
Cool.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank
All right,
you.
hang tight. We're going to talk a little bit about community.
Yeah, we've got one main thing I wanted to touch upon because it's such a unique. I love things that are uniquely weird, Omaha. And this is one I had not ever heard of before. Have you guys ever heard about I've got to read it off my notes, Captain Fleming's second annual Gator Fun Run?
No.
So my sister's husband coaches at the University of Florida, so I always think of the Florida Gators. But there is this crazy, unique story about Omaha. So where the Henry Dorley Zoo currently is, used to be Riverside Park here. So from 1921 to 1925, the city of Omaha housed the gators, the actual alligators, in the basement of the firehouse. I think it was Fire Station number 6, located on 24th and Cumming. I did not believe this. This is according to their event's Facebook page.
Okay.
So this event is held by the Omaha Firefighters Historical Society.
Mhm.
So 1 year, and then they put them back out in the park in the summer. I don't know who thought alligators in the park was a good idea, but so this happened. So one of the alligators got loose and it chased Captain Fleming. I want to double check, it's Captain Fleming, and 7 other firefighters out of the fire station.
Wow.
So in honor of that, yeah, and now the
I like it.
You got you.
Historical Society, has turned this into a fun run inside the zoo. So it's such a cool event. It's coming up here soon.
He's a legend.
Yeah, on April 19th at 7:30 in the morning, they're going to host this fun 5K at the Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can reach out to the Omaha Firefighters Historical Society for more information about that.
Sadly, we have to wrap up. Venton, thanks so much.
Thank you guys
so
for
We're going to
having
talk
me.
about your schedule. We're going to talk about your schedule because we want to have you back because there's so much to talk about. And it's basketball, but it's sports in general. Kids, to have them active, to be a multi-sport athlete, not just have a particular lane when you're young,
Skills
just a
on and
lot
off
of
the
cool
court.
things. Right.
Yeah.
So
One thing I want to say, parents, relax. They have time.
yeah,
They have time to be great. Deep breaths.
All
Parents, deep breaths.
we'll end on that. Deep breaths, relax, parents.
Everybody.
All right. Thanks. Local Omaha.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Kelsey, Venton, thanks again.
Thank you guys.
Guys, thanks for coming.
Bye.